morning, Clifton Bradley from Los Angeles, California.
Okay.
How are you, sir?
I am doing good, brother. I'm doing good, my brother. This is, for people that don't know, this is Clifton Bradley of the Underground Railroad television show. And I am pleased and honored to have a guest on the David Koss. He ran for president. And we're going to talk about conspiracy theories, and we're going to talk about aliens. We're going to talk about in the Federation and all of this. Brother, first of all, brother, tell us something about yourself before we even get started in the conversation. I guess you can notice I got on my television voice now, but go ahead.
Well, Clifton, you know, like I've told you before, I started out in a cornfield from Iowa, and I worked my way out, and I worked all the way up to Los Angeles, California now, and I've seen the whole country, and it's going to hell in a handbag, let me tell you. Handbag. But it can all be fixed like overnight if we just get our acts together and everybody pull together, not pull apart. You know, that's what's happening. Our country being pulled apart by differences.
Now, you know what I and people that do not know, you know what, you can visit you can have Mr. Koss on your show. All you got to do is just leave a message, because you have a Facebook page and you have a YouTube page. But how do people get in contact with you if they want to talk about the interplanetary connection between Earth and the United States of America and the world?
The best way is go to the YouTube and leave a comment, and I can get back to you. Another way is to go to Koss, K-A-A-S, David 4 at Gmail and send me an email, and I'll get back to you there. Or you go to Facebook, and I'm on my Facebook page. People leave comments all the time. So there's 3 different ways, but the best way is just to listen to programs like you got, Clifton, the Underground Railroad, because that's where the good information is coming out all the time.
And, you know, praises to the Lord. But, you know, brother, I appreciate you saying that. But you know what? You said there is something getting ready to go on in October where there will be floods and around California, and you have been given a message from the galaxy from the galaxy aliens, and I'm probably not saying it correctly. Can you tell us first of all, how did you have a connection with the Galaxy Federation? And then I ask you other question after that.
It's the Federation of Planets. That's a group of just like Earths out there in space, and they all got together and said, we got to make a truce and get it going on. So that's what they did a long time ago. We've been here. We're on a prison planet, actually, Clifton, a prison planet that's under Luciferian control, and that's why nobody knows what the hell's going on here. Everybody's killing each other and trying to steal from each other, and they're not helping each other. So it's all confusion. That's why we got to get away from that confused state and get our heads together and make it happen. But we're going to. It's amazing, you know, to be in the process and to think something bad's going to happen when actually you're in the process and the best is coming to us. That's what's actually happening.
Out of curiosity, there are a lot of naysayers out there that do not believe in aliens, and they do not believe in some people call these conspiracy theories, but there is classified information by our own government that we have been visited. Why should people believe that there are aliens, and why did they decide to get specifically in contact with you?
Well, I've always wondered that myself, but just wondering that is the reason why. You know, it's because you know why we're together today. Because you're a wanderer. You ask questions, you don't get answers, but you keep asking questions. You know, and I'm the same way in my lifetime. I just keep asking questions. One day, I got those answers. You know, one of these days, you're going to get all your answers. One of these days, we're all going to get these questions answered. But at the moment, it's just we're still taking baby steps, and we got to be patient with the rest of the crowd, so to speak. You and me, we got a lot of answers, but the rest of the crowd hasn't got a clue yet.
Okay. But let me go back to what the original question is. What is the proof that there are extraterrestrials? And if it is, why have they not taken over the planet if they have all of this power?
Well, they understand the time differential. For themselves on their worlds, time has meant something different to them. They've been evolving. But on this world, we've been going through constant phases of de-evolution where the whole planet, the whole nation, whatever gets completely wiped out. So that's not an evolving existence here. We're devolving, actually. Every couple, 50, 60 years, we start to devolve again. This country is starting to devolve in its spiritual capacity and its capacity to lead the rest of the world. So it's just a phase. It's almost like you're building a structure and you got to take away the scaffolding. That's what's happening to us right now. We're taking away our scaffolding, and we're going to realize that this is what we got built and this is what we got to do. But it's just another phase. Evolution takes a while.
Well, let me ask you something. When you where you have made videos, and I know millions of people are going to go to your video to find out about October. And can you, for individuals that have not been to your website, I seen your YouTube website talking about California being flooded out. Can you expand on that to give us more information so we can prepare ourselves?
What I know is I've been told by my contact.
Who are your contacts? You can't tell that.
Joseph is a man that I shook hands with in 1993, and he's from the Galactic Federation of Planets. And just in the last couple of years, he's telepathically communicated to me that California, Oregon, Washington State are all going to be underwater by this November. Now, I'm sitting on the coast of California right now, Venice Beach, and I figure, hey, by November, I'm looking at my calendar, by November, I got to be out of here because this is going to be gone.
Okay.
But that's just the way it's going to be, and all the people sitting out here are going to be gone too, but they could be back in the Midwest with me if they wanted to, but you can't make some people do some things, for themselves. And the best we can do is pass this information along at the moment, Clifton, and that's what we're doing.
When you say October, are you talking about 2021, 2022? What year are you
21, 2021, this November is all going to be gone here. Well, Florida's going to be washed over, and Hawaii is going to be washed over too. So that's 2 more states, 5 states in all are going to be washed over. Gone.
Is it a possibility that Joseph is telling you this just to see what the reaction would be from the people? Is that a possibility?
No, they've been leaving crop circles for like 40, 50 years now, and he's even pointed a couple specific crop circles out to me. I put them in my videos, and the one, 2 reverse triangles, and inside of one triangle is 45 little designations. Those are the 45 states that survived the flip. And he showed that to me. He goes, this one was put in Ravenna, Italy, 2016. I go, whoa, So, there's just, it's too incredible to disbelieve. There's a lot of people that still don't believe it, but they haven't got all the facts and figures. That's why they're still in disbelief, believing these facts. But to me, it's so apparent and so incredible that's why we're here today, is talk about it, and tell our brothers and sisters out there, even on the street, that this is what's coming down and this is what's going to happen. I said on the Facebook this information to Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, Judge Jeanine Pirro, Sandra Smith. A lot of these reporters, they know what's coming down, but their hands are tied. They can only say what they're paid to say. So that's what it is.
They can only pay. And let me ask you something about what's going to happen in October. Is this a chastisement? Is it a warning?
Yeah.
I'm trying to wrap. You know what? I'm listening, but you know what? I want to know: is it a chastisement? Is it a warning of things to come if the people don't change their behavior pattern? Can you explain? I don't know if Joseph told you how did they come to the conclusion and why
Well,
is this going to happen?
It's time. It's the time for it to happen. You know that site in Göbekli Tepe, Turkey, that they unearthed? They got these big stone T's, shaped like a T, like in Tom. Well,
Yes.
that T denotes mankind's evolution from the ground up to a point in time where he has to go to the left or to the right, and this is the time we're approaching right now. And with this 5 states falling off of the ocean and the planet rotating 70 degrees, this is the top of the T, and we have to choose how we're going to go from now on, either to the left or to the right. And that's either make the wise choice or the unwise choice for ourselves as a planet. And if we choose the unwise choice, Joseph has told me the Federation will have to leave and they'll go on their way, leave us to our own just desserts. But if we decide to go to the right and become another planet in the Federation, then they will share with us all their knowledge and step up our civilization incredibly in just the next year or two. So it's up to us. We have to vote on this, and this will happen after the flip.
Now, has Joseph told you about things that have, is this the only thing Joseph has told you? And if he has told you of other things, what has come to pass, what has come to reality that Joseph has told you previous to telling you this? That really that happened, that we can actually say Joseph told you.
When we met in 1993, it was just one hot summer day. And then he started communicating with me telepathically, and he directed me to the Phil Schneider videos on the YouTube. Phil Schneider was a gentleman who worked for our government as a drilling underground tunnels and whatnot. And he came forward in these videos and he tells what happened. And he ended up being strangled to death by a telephone or a cord in San Francisco several years back. But that they included me into that. And I had previously read Whitley Strieber's 2 books, Communion and Transformation. So I was somewhat familiar with the alien questions actually going on. But then when I found out about the cattle mutilations that the Greys have been doing and how they evolved this to the point where they're taking children and draining their pineal glands of hormonal extract to mix with chemicals. They call it adrenochrome now. Pharmacies are selling to the doctors. I mean, this is more than imagination. This is more than, somebody told me, or, we don't know for sure. This is all stuff that's on the YouTube. It's all factual. It's all going on right in front of our faces. And if these people now, if they don't care, so be it. They're going to get the worst. They're going to get worse. A whole lot worse than this, Clifton, is going to happen here. So, this is the time now to decide whether they want to go the right way or the wrong way. And I don't know which way they're going to go, which way they're going to decide, but it's going to be a vote. It's going to be a vote in this country, and that's what we're going to take, and that's what they're going to have to live with.
It's some people, like I said, some people that do not believe in they don't believe in aliens, but there is they don't believe what happened in Roswell is real. They don't believe that we have been visited. And if they don't believe it, if they do not believe it, and why is the government covering up the information of the classified information that they have about visitations from other planets? I mean, other aliens and other. Why is the government covering it?
Our government has been in cahoots with these aliens, the gray greens, since the early days. Ever since they got the sonar technology, they've been giving them the computers, the headphones. They've been stepping up, our scientific discovery is not coming from our human element. It's coming from the green grays. They're giving us all these technological discoveries, which are so wonderful. And now we got them, little ear pods, for our headphones and whatnot. These are all from the green grays.
No.
It's not our smart thinking that got this stuff here. And for everyone to be using it and just becoming, ignorant about it, that's typical. That's just typical of a civilization. Some of these aliens that are coming here in these craft, they don't personally understand how their craft are working, but they've been trained and taught how to use the craft, and they can fly here and fly around in it, and it's wonderful. But they don't even understand all the technological steps and processes that it took to achieve that flying craft that they're in. So we have to realize that life is more than just, discovery and ownership, so to speak. Life is for, finding ourselves and what we're here for.
I understand. You know what, man? This is you say 9 times out of 10 they thought of this technology, and when we talk about technology, when I think World War II, when Adolf Hitler came up with all of these marvelous weapons at that particular time, it was considered marvelous. The B-1 out of B-2 rocket and the fighter jet. Okay, and some people believe that he got that technology from aliens. What's your opinion about that?
Well, I have read and I've learned that the gray greens, they started out as gold silvers on the planet Zeta Reticulum. In fact, they were the very first of our creator's life forms that they put in this universe. And they had a civil war between their planets, and they destroyed both worlds. So they nowadays are called gray greens. Their bodies have devolved that much, but they landed here in the 1800s, and they have the ability to they can psychically, they can hear your thoughts in your head if they tune in on you. So what they did is they tuned into this human element here, and they found the Bauer family over in Europe printing the money. And so they went to them and they met with them, and they had them change their name to Rothschild. And that's what they did. They did it. The Gray Greens did this. And then the Rothschilds backed the Nazi party, and Adolf Scheckelmeister was his name. He changed it to Hitler when he went to Austria. But they backed them and gave them the submarine technology. That was amazing. Submarine. Nobody had really put together a submarine, since Jules Verne wrote 20,000 Leagues Out of the Sea. So submarine technology was really advanced in that day and age for what happened. And then the rocket technology. So, that just blew everybody away. Nobody in Europe could hold a candle to that, those Nazis,
I would like to ask you something from the statement you just made, that they backed him. What does that say about the aliens, that they would back someone that intentionally exterminate people of another race? What does it say about them?
Well, it's just a survival technique. It's a survival technique. It's a universal survival technique for your own race, your own family, your own group of whatever it is you're considering. You want to preserve that. So you don't even consider who you're going to be up against or who you're going to be meeting in time. You just have to focus on survival of the fittest. And it's also a continuation of their species. The species doesn't want to die out. And this
I guess what I'm saying is they're from other planets, and they are supposed to be super intelligent. Why would you back someone and give somebody the technology to overcome someone that is oppression and killing people? Like I say, what happened to the Jews in the Holocaust, that was a terrible atrocity. Now, if they're more intelligent than me, and they have that technology, Why wasn't they intelligent enough to say, why should I give that technology to a man that's leading people into a gas chamber? Why? I'm asking.
Well, the gray greens, they're playing us against each other. They're playing the Germans against the Allies, you know, the European countries against the Western world over here. You know, they're always, even the Korean War was the Allies against, you know, the South Koreans against the North Koreans, backed by USSR and the Allies. You know, it's always, they're always pitting us against each other, and they're always in starting race wars now. You know, everything else. And it's like, that's the key right there. They're pitting us against each other. We got to unite as a one type of human against these gray greens, because they're not even from this planet, and they're causing the planet to kill itself. You know, they're causing this destruction.
And what you're saying by listening to you and processing what you're saying, they are the gray greens are immoral people to give that type of technology to somebody that wage havoc on to annihilate.
They're not immortal. They're not immortal, though. When I watched the Phil Schneider videos on the YouTube, he even says they bleed green blood. They are mortal. He goes, you can't kill them. So don't think that they got every power over us. They're just a lot smarter than us, but they're fewer than us. So we can beat them.
Okay. You know, I had associate, somebody that I did a television show with, and he told me that they live underground, and not the middle of the earth, because we know no one can live in the core of the earth, but they live underground. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, the majority of them are now at the deep underground military base near Dulce, New Mexico.
Okay.
There's a few of them that are spread out around the world and go on these tube shuttles to, you know, listen in on conferences around the world and whatnot. But the majority of them are at this deep underground military base near Dulce, New Mexico. And they've been doing experiments there for, you know, 30, 40 years at least on humans. The sixth level is known as Nightmare Hall, and they got cages where they do experiments on different creatures they've created and whatnot. And I've heard that that's where the chupacabra got loose from and went south, and that's a creature that they had created, and it only jumps on like cattle and larger animals, and it's drains the blood out of their necks and whatnot. But that's one creature that got out of there. But there's other creatures too that are being reported. I see on the YouTube every once in a while an actual photograph of something that looks really weird, a fish or like half of a human or a whatever from underwater, and it's like, wow, that's some strange stuff. You wonder where that stuff's coming from? That's where it's coming from. They're experimenting.
They are experimenting.
Got those human pigs or chimeras, or they're human monkeys. They're breeding them or trying to develop them for, you know, use it for an army or whatever against us.
Sound like Dr. Mengele, Dr. Mengele, man. He did studies on cybergenetics to try to
warfare,
make the human being better.
Right.
And
right.
That's a fear. It's when people do experiments like that, do you feel that they're trying to almost make man like God?
They're attempting to. It's the old Luciferian Declaration of Liberation, though. That's what started it all off. Lucifer gave us all free right to do whatever we want, experiment however we want, and find out whatever we want here.
You know what, man? I want to tell people out there, you know what? It was a struggle for me to learn this technology, and
we can learn it. And it's more important how we use it. We can all use it, and it'll all be given to us. Like I say, the Federation's gonna bring all the good stuff here, but we just got to be willing to go the right way, you know.
The only thing is, you know what I worry about, man. You know what, the awesome information that this brother is putting out. He is being watched by the government. He is being watched. They're monitoring everything. But the thing is, they can watch Mr. Cass, but you know what? He don't do nothing against the law anyway, so it don't make no difference.
I'm too old. I'm 65, Clifton. I'm too old to go do anything wrong. I only want to do the right thing, like you. You only want to do the right thing for everybody.
Yeah, so but the government, do you believe that the government is watching you?
Well, I hope they are, because I hope they
Why
are.
you say that, brother?
Well, we're going to put some new rules in place. We're going to put a rule in place that if you go work for the government, your head's going to be on the chopping block if you do something wrong. So don't even come and look for a job in the government anymore. If you're going to do anything wrong, you'll be out of here with the quickness.
The NSA. Oh.
Yeah.
So, you know what, though, David? So this is all right. So is this all right to air on television?
Yeah.
I got to ask you that question. Is this okay to air on television and to put on social media?
I say it's a good start, and I say let's do some more.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is at some point, because I wanna do a show with this gentleman to talk about a new world order system and talk about what is being done to suppress the people, and the people need to know this. So can you, first of all, thank you for accepting the invitation to come on an Underground Railroad television show in Chicago. I've been knowing David for years. You know what? He's like a brother from another mother.
You are, Clifton, you are.
And you know what? And he has information. And you know what? I'm gonna give your contact information. But Brother David, there may be something that you want to say that a question that I did not ask you. So there may be a specific message that you want to disseminate to the people. I'm going to be quiet.
I want to let everyone know that this is the beginning of a new age of enlightenment. And as you see the sun coming up behind you, Clifton, in that wonderful picture you have, this is what this program is all about, is the dawning of a new generation, of a new time in history. So thank you, Clifton. Thank you, sir.
And the finishing, then thank you, brother. Like, how do people get in contact? Because you know what, you got to have David on your show. I don't care if you're a blogger, if you have a YouTube show, you got to have David. So how do we got to know it. How do we get in contact with you?
We've only got so much time, Clifton. You and me have only got so much time, and we can't be chasing all over the place. Us coming together doing this program today, this is what they got to watch. Just tune in here and put your ears on and your eyeballs, keep them to the sky. You'll hear it all right here.
Oh, they need your contact information. How do they get in contact with you and watch the content?
They can send any questions they have. Go to YouTube and enter the comment section, and I'll try to get back to you there.
When they go to YouTube, what are they doing? What are they putting in the search bar when they go to YouTube?
David Koss, and hit the transmit, and you'll see a little picture of my face. Click on that, go right to my page. I got 15 different videos for them to watch, informative and educational. So go to my video page on the YouTube under David Koss, K-A-A-S, or go to Facebook, David Koss. I got a lot of information there too that I got, but you can leave information anywhere on either of those sites, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can, but we got a lot going on now.
Okay, you know what, man, it has been a pleasure first of all, it's a pleasure to be a friend with you. It's a pleasure to be associated with somebody like you, and you are appreciated. I don't mean to sound like Tupac Shakur, but you are appreciated.
Thank you, Clifton. You are appreciated too, brother. You are too. We go back a long way.
Okay.